بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending peace and salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we continue our book Safinatun Naja in the Fiqh, in the madhab of al-Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah. Last week we went through zakah and some of the rulings that are pertaining to zakah. So we said that the mu'allif, the author, he mentioned small parts of this bab and left off others. He mentioned small parts and left off others. He mentioned two main things. One is the types of wealth that you have to pay zakah upon. And he mentioned there were 6. And for some of them, he mentioned what it is you have to pay. What it is that you have to pay in terms of the amount. So for example, for gold and silver and cash, you have to pay 2.5%. And we also mentioned extra points above that. Us ourselves, we added some extra points. Normally zakat takes a long time to explain, especially the zakat to do with livestock. The numbers get quite difficult and it needs, a board and us to actually write it out. But inshallah, in the following books, that's something we'll go into a little bit more detail. And one thing I wanted to make clear is up until zakah is the book where it actually stops. The book actually stops after zakah, meaning the author originally he wrote from the beginning of tahara until where we are now in zakah. That's the amount he wrote. Then another author by the name of Sheikh Muhammad Jawi, he added the section to do with Sawm. He added the section to Sawm. He has an explanation on the book Safinatun Naja. He has an explanation, and he added the Sawm part that you see in your books. And then another Sheikh, he added the part to do with Hajj, and that's where the book ends. So if we say Safinatun Naja itself, it finishes after zakah. But the part we're adding is addition that was added by another sheikh that wrote an explanation of the book from Tahara and Salah. Does that make sense here? Clear? Okay. So now we're going to go into that section, the section of Siyam. Okay? And some of the rulings pertaining to that. We started it last week, but I wanted to go over it and start from scratch properly. So, Sawm is a type of worship where you stay away from the things that break your fast, whether that is eating and drinking or anything else. From when to when? From Tulu'ul Fajr, meaning the time that Fajr comes in. And we mentioned that there's 2 types of Fajr. We said when we were doing the times of Salah, we said that the time of Salah for Fajr starts at the true Fajr. And that's also when the time for the beginning of your fast starts. So from the true Fajr until sunset, that's when you fast. So from Fajr to Maghrib. From the beginning of Fajr to Maghrib. So that is what fasting is. Okay. Now there's 2 types of fast that are wajib, that you have to do. 2 types of fast that you have to do. Number 1 is the one that you all know of, the one that the Sharia makes wajib upon you. And that is fasting in the month of Ramadan. Fasting in the month of Ramadan. And the second one is one that you make wajib upon yourself, that you take an oath to fast. For example, you make an oath that if Allah gives me this, I will fast this day. So now that day that you said that you was going to fast becomes wajib upon you. You've taken an oath. So that's the second type, that is wajib. And here we're talking about the first type. The first type of fast that is wajib is fasting in the month of Ramadan. And that is the one that is focused on in the book. Okay? So it says, فَصْلٌ فِي ثُبُوتِ رَمَضَانَ. When is it يجب صوم رمضان بأحد أمور خمسة? It becomes wajib for you to fast, begin fasting in the month of Ramadan if you meet any one of these 5 situations. 5 things that you, if you meet one of them, if one of them is true for you, then you have to fast. Number 1, أحدها بكمال شعبان 30 يوما. If Sha'ban, which is the month before Ramadan, is completed, 30 days of Sha'ban is completed, then you don't need to look for whether you see the crescent moon or not. 30 days are completed, that's it, Ramadan has come in. It's now wajib upon you to fast, even if you don't see it. Even if you're not able to see the moon. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. ثانيها, the second, برؤية الهلال في حق من رآه وإن كان فاسقا. If you yourself see the crescent moon, then who does it become wajib upon? It becomes wajib upon yourself. You've seen it, so you start fasting. Your Ramadan has started for yourself. وَإِن كَانَ فَاسِقًا. Even if you're known to be a liar, for example. You're dishonest. Yourself. Why is that important? Because you seeing it makes it wajib upon you, but it doesn't make it wajib upon anyone else. Does that make sense? So even if you are someone that is dishonest, because you've seen it for yourself, then you have to fast. But it doesn't make it wajib upon anyone else. Is that clear? Okay. Next one. بثبوته في حق من لم يره بعدل شهادة. And this is a concept that we started to talk about last week. عدل الشهادة. And is someone, we're going to explain what عدل الشهادة is, and then we're going to explain the point together. So عدل الشهادة is someone that is a Muslim man that is free, so not a slave. A Muslim man that is free and stays away from the major sins. Stays away from the major sins. So what does that mean? Okay, so you've got those conditions. This is adl shahada. A Muslim man that's free, that stays away from major sins. Okay. This person, if they come to you saying, even though you haven't seen it yourself, they're saying, I've seen the moon. Then this person, then it becomes now wajib on you to fast. It becomes wajib for you now to fast. Because someone that's a Muslim man that's free has told you. They fit the conditions of adl shahada itself. It means to be a witness. To be a witness. They fit that conditions. So because they fit those conditions, it now becomes wajib for you to fast. So, does it make sense, yeah? So the one before, even if the person was untrustworthy, as long as they've seen it themselves, then is wajib upon them to fast, but nobody else. This one, for the person that sees it and is a Muslim, a man, free, and stays away from major sins, that person, for himself, is it wajib to fast? Yes. And for others, is it wajib to fast? That he tells? You said no.
Wait, if he's just...
Yeah, he's just and he's free and all of that. Then it's for others as well. Sah? Does it make sense? Okay. Now, the fourth one. وَرَابِعُهَا. Oh, do you need something?
No.
Oh, okay. وَرَابِعُهَا the fourth one, بإخبار عدل رواية موثوق به سواء وقع في قلب صدقه أم لا. Okay, there's now someone that is considered to be something else. It's called adlu. We've done adlu shahada. Now it's adlu riwaya. The one that fits the condition of narration. Sah? Now what is this person? It's all the conditions we mentioned before, except that they don't have to be a man and they don't have to be free. So it's accepted from a slave and a woman as well. Does that make sense? I'll repeat. So all those conditions we mentioned, they have to be Muslim, they have to be stay away from major sins, but they don't have to be a man and they don't have to be free. So this person can be a slave and this person can be a woman. If this person now comes and tells you, موثوق به, they are trustworthy, they are trustworthy, reliable, then it becomes wajib for you to fast. This is the condition, that this person is reliable. There's a condition on them that they're reliable. سواء وقع في قلب صدقه أم لا. And it's the same whether you believe yourself that they are telling the truth or lying. Okay, let's repeat. This person, say for example a slave, says, and they fit the conditions of Adl al-Ruwaya. They say, I've seen the moon, Ramadan has started. This person is known to be trustworthy. موثوق به. They're known to be trustworthy. Then you take their word for it. Whether you believe in your heart that they're telling the truth or not, you take their word for it. And you're going to see the other case. When do you have a choice? It says, أو غير موثوق به إن وقع في قلبه صدقه. Or they are not known to be trustworthy, they're not trustworthy. Then when does it become wajib for you to fast? If you feel in your heart that they're telling the truth. This person fits the conditions of what? Adl al-Ruwaya. They can narrate. Okay. They are not known to be trustworthy. Then you look. Do I believe them that they're telling the truth in my heart? If that's the case, then yes, you take their word for it. If not, you leave it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So that's the fourth case. And then وخامسها, the fifth case, بظن دخول رمضان بالاجتهاد في من اشتبه عليه ذلك. For the person that is not able to make sense of when Ramadan is. صح? And I'll tell you the situation that this happens. And as they do it by something called ijtihad, they make an educated guess. Okay? They make an educated guess on when Ramadan has come in. I'll give you the example. The example is someone that is locked up, for example. They're locked up and they're not able to tell when the month has come in. صح? They're not able to tell when the month has come in. So it's either one of three situations. So they make ijtihad, they guess, okay, Ramadan has started this day. They started fasting for 30 days. Okay. That 30 days can be one of three things. It can be one of three things. Either that number one, they fasted before the month of Ramadan. They fasted before the month of Ramadan. Or that their ijtihad was correct, that their guess was correct and they fasted in Ramadan itself. Or that they fasted after Ramadan. Okay, let's look at those three situations. If their ijtihad was correct and they fasted in Ramadan, that's good, no problem. Sah? They made the correct guess. If they fasted before Ramadan and after it was become clear that they actually fasted before Ramadan, what is upon them now? To make up the fast they missed in Ramadan itself. If it becomes clear, sah? And number three is that they fasted after Ramadan. So they fasted the month after Ramadan, for example. Then there's nothing upon them. Why? Because that would be the month that they would have made up for the month they missed in Ramadan. صح? It would have been their qada, it would have been the made up fasts. So because they had the wrong ijtihad, they made their guess was incorrect, they actually fasted the month after Ramadan, then that would just be them making up the Ramadan they missed. Does that make sense? So that is the fifth case. That is the fifth case. Okay. So that is when is it, that chapter was talking about, when is it that my Ramadan starts? In what situations does my Ramadan start? And when do I have to start fasting? In one of those 5 cases. Is that clear? Who can remind us what is the difference between a condition and a pillar? Generally.
The condition comes before.
Exactly. So the condition comes before the action and the pillar is in the action. Okay. If the pillar is in the action and the condition is before, both of them, without both of, if you're missing any one of them, the action is incorrect. Sah? Now, there's a new concept that we haven't studied yet, and this is the first time we've seen it in the book. And this concept splits conditions into 2 types. So the conditions are 2 types. There's one called shurut al-sihah and the other shurut al-wujub. Okay, let's see what they mean. The second one, shurut al-wujub are the conditions that if you find all of those conditions, only then does the action become wajib upon you. Does it make sense, yeah? The conditions are of 2 types. The ones that you've studied so far, for example, let's look back into Salah. The condition for you to pray is for you to face the Qibla. If you don't face the Qibla, is the Salah correct? No. That is shurut of sihah, correctness. For your Salah to be correct, you need to come with these conditions. You need to have wudu. You need to face the Qibla. The time has to enter. These are conditions that have to happen for your Salah to be correct. That's one side. Shurut of wujub are only when when you have these conditions, then this action becomes wajib upon you. For example, one of the conditions to fast Ramadan is that they need to have reached the age of puberty, for example. And this is shurut of wujub, because if they haven't reached the age of puberty, is it wajib upon them to fast? No. Do you see the difference now? Clear? Let's give an example. If, for example, let's say if someone goes to a university, for you to be able to go to that university, right? For you to be able to go to that university, you need to get certain grades. That is shurut wujub. For the action to even happen, you need these grades. Sah? And for shurut al-sihah, for the action to even be correct, you need to go to all the lectures, go to all the seminars. All of these things are shurut al-sihah. For the action to be correct, for you to go university properly, sit all the exams, all of this are shurut al-sihah. Shurut al-wujub are the things that if these are found, then the action can happen. Sah? And we'll see the difference now. Let's quickly go through those 2 chapters. في شروط الصحة الصوم. شروط صحته 4 أشياء. For the sawm to be correct, whether this is sunnah or a sunnah fast or a fast that is wajib, you need 4 things. Al-Islam. If a non-Muslim fasts, their fast isn't correct. So we're in shurut al-sihah. Without these things, the fast is incorrect. وَعَقْلٌ. And they need to have sanity. Why? Because fast, it needs intention. And you can't make intention without sanity. وعلم بكون الوقت قابلا للصوم. ونقاء من نحو الحيض, and to be free from anything like menstruation, the period, being free from anything like the period, and what comes under that, and nifas, postnatal bleeding as well. So to be free from that. If a woman fasts while she's on her period, then that sawm isn't correct. And if she does it purposefully, knowing that she's not allowed to fast, then she is sinful for that. The next one, وَعِلْمٌ بِكَوْنِ الْوَقْتِ قَابِلًا لِلصَّوْمِ, and to know that the time you're fasting, you're actually allowed to fast. Without that, the sawm is incorrect. So for example, if someone doesn't know when Ramadan is, and they just decide to fast any month, even if they were actually correct. And this is not the case we're talking about the person that's making ijtihad. This is just the person that they just choose to fast any month, thinking that, not thinking that it's Ramadan or not. Sah? They just choose to fast. Even if it coincides with Ramadan, that fast is incorrect. Why? Because they didn't know that was actually Ramadan they were fasting. Sah? And it should be away from times that you're not allowed to fast. Times that you're not allowed to fast are, for example, the 2 Eids, Ayam al-Tashriq, so the 11th, 12th and 13th of Dhul Hijjah, and something called Yawm al-Shak, the days of doubt, where it's a doubt, is this Ramadan, is it Eid, is it not, and the likes. And really quickly, the last thing we'll go through today, في شروط وجوب الصوم, the conditions for Sawm to become wajib. If these conditions are found, then you have to fast. Without these, you don't have to fast. It's not wajib upon you to fast. Is that clear? Yeah? Number 1, al-Islam. You have to be Muslim. Number 2, taklif. Taklif is 2 things. Number 1 is bulugh, to reach the age of puberty, and we went through the signs of puberty already. And number 2 is aql as well, to have sanity. وَإِطَاقَةٌ, and the ability to actually fast. Number 4, وَصِحَّةٌ, and to be of good health, to be able to fast through your health. وَإِقَامَةٌ, and for you to be a resident. So what does that mean? Someone that is not Muslim, they don't need to fast. Someone that is that hasn't reached the age of puberty, or they are insane, they don't need to fast. Someone that isn't able to fast, they don't need to fast. Someone that isn't healthy enough to fast, they don't need to fast. And someone that is a traveler, fasting is not wajib upon them. Any questions? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.